Mayor Brandon Johnson. Oh, it was.
Hey, no, my bad.
What? You cool?
I'm good.
You got some.
They
Wait,
coming
Mayor Brandon Johnson
they
was your
coming for
daddy
my
too?
age. They coming for my age again.
Oh, Chris. Oh, they always
I
gonna
ain't
come
trying to hear that.
You show it. So over the weekend, Mayor Brandon Johnson went on vacation. Unfortunately, well, I won't say unfortunately. I think he deserved a vacation. You deserve to plan some time with your family and get away, especially because you the mayor and we stay out west. Like, come on now, get your vacation in.
You want to get people a whole background of the
I'm
story?
getting so over the weekend, or over the 4th of July weekend, we had over 100 shootings and 19 fatalities in Chicago. And Mayor Brandon Johnson had a press conference with the police superintendent Snelling, and they basically was saying like, "Oh, we have to stop this. This is, we're messing up the soul of Chicago. This is unacceptable." And one thing that stuck out to me from the superintendent's speech, I would say, was he was just saying like, this usually just comes from people getting together, getting drunk, and airing out their differences, and then they just choose violence because they're drunk. But I feel like that doesn't add to how do we solve this problem.
I guess because we ain't gotta hit a video. I took the video. Everybody seen the video.
Yeah, we'll have to hit the video.
Yeah, hit the video.
And they was giving him slack for being on vacation while all of this was happening. I don't think he should have stopped his vacation. That's just me.
I'm interested in Jay. How you feel? I'm gonna leave with Jay. Let's leave with Jay.
I think that I agree with Bree. I don't think he should have stopped his vacation. A man is a human. He's a family man, and society preaches now this work-life balance, lifestyle. We just because we have people in position that have duties to the, city or country or whatever doesn't mean that they're not human and they don't deserve to have some time with their family. Now, I think that regardless of if he took this job, knowing how 4th of July is in Chicago, I think there's some accountability. We can't blame everything on our city leaders. It's not just their responsibility for us to act right, for the city to act right, for kids in the city to act right. Yes, there are things that we should have in our communities to negate certain things from happening, but at the same time, it's also the parents' responsibility to make sure people are, you're raising your kids right and you're doing, making sure that they're not outside wilding. That's how I feel.
And I also feel like it's not just the parents as well, like just people in general. Like if you going to your cousin's house and you kicking it for the 4th, you don't have to bring your gun, G. Like you feel like I get it, safety, but it's like you're around family. And like he said, most of the shootings happen at large gatherings for the 4th of July. It happened in large groups. It happened because people were with their people that they feel comfortable with, and then they got drunk, and then like small arguments turned into violent arguments. It's like, how do we stop the small arguments from turning into fatalities? Because
people gotta find their
the 4th is
emotional
supposed to
truth.
be the 4th is supposed to be a celebration. Like we shouldn't have to be like, oh, I'm not going over there on that block because it's the 4th. Everybody, too many people about to be outside. Like we shouldn't have to say that. So I feel like growing up, we really didn't have to say that.
And also too, like even stuff that goes on downtown, it's like people. I know a lot of people that are from here that won't go downtown because of how things have been these last few years.
So it's because there's a lot to unpack there too. Like even with like the NASCAR kind of got in the way of the Taste of Chicago, and the reason why
The Taste was last weekend.
No, the Taste of Chicago is usually the 4th of July weekend, and then usually they do fireworks on the 3rd. And I heard that the city didn't do fireworks on the 3rd this year.
They didn't even do Taste of Chicago this year.
Yeah, they pushed it to September.
To September.
Yeah, they moved the Taste of Chicago to September. For what I'm hearing.
They've been draining us of the Taste of Chicago for years now.
But this goes back to what correlates to what Jay was just saying, was that usually downtown Chicago now is like doing a taste Like they it's always fights and shootings and stuff like that. And like how you saying it shouldn't it used to then be like that for our holiday. Like it shouldn't be like that for the holidays. But that's the culture we live in. So of course, if I got ops or if I know some shit can go left, I'ma always bring my gun. Like bringing your gun is like for the shorties. It's like having Carmex. Damn, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's something that you got. It's like an essential to have when you busting the move. So I get what you saying, but they gonna have that everywhere they go. They gonna have it at all the barbecues. They gonna have it at all the picnics. I do feel that my major issues with what went down is that I do feel like the city. When I say the city, I'm talking about like the citizens. They're giving Mayor Brandon Johnson too much. They own his like he was saying he was out of town. They was like, yeah, what like why you out of town doing the 4th of July? Like we got this thing where we want to point blame, but him being in town wasn't gonna stop no violence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's all. I think that's really all it was. Just trying to find somebody to blame for it when it's like this is not a Marvel movie. Like he not Superman. He can't just pop up and take the cape off and stand in front of the bullets and shoot them the other way. Like he can't do that. So what exactly was he supposed to do in this instance? If he was to stop everything that he was doing, come back home from vacation within the next 5-6 hours after the fourth or on the fourth, what was there for him as a man to do that he couldn't do from where he was at? Because I know he heard about it. I'm sure he got a phone call.
Of course. I mean, he can't enjoy his vacation, though. You
Yeah,
feel me?
like
Like,
put more police on the street. Like I get it's the holidays, but y'all chose to do this job. You disagreeing with me?
he can't.
No, I
He
just
can't
read a
kick it.
comment that said Mayor Johnson possibly
Uh,
Chris
yeah,
Davis. It's wild.
yeah. I saw that.
At this point, I think every dark skin comment too.
That's wild as
So
hell.
We got two in a possible right now. Two in a
okay,
possible.
if I inquire until your daddy walk in this building.
That was crazy.
I'm gonna show y'all a picture of my dad one day. That's
Okay.
crazy.
You got one?
Yeah.
He told us he had one last time.
He said he had 50 on Michael Jordan. But get back on track. Yeah, I think this is a parenting issue to me. Like all these kids and all this running around and doing it. Like it's the same thing with the 31st Street Beach. And they got to close early because what's going on with the violence and the kids over there. It's like get y'all kids.
It's not just the kids that's shooting though.
A lot of it is coming from the kids. A lot of the violence is coming from the shorties. And before you become an adult that be on violence, you was a kid on violence. So your parents should have not got like so get your kids. And on top of this, hold your homeboys accountable.
I feel that.
Like women, hold your men accountable. Like girls, it's a lot of girls want to go get guns now when they get into altercations. You know what I mean? Like hold your friends and people
I
accountable.
do feel like holding your people accountable when it comes to de-escalating situations is very important. Like even this might be a little off, but I remember one of my homies was strolling one day and I saw his holster and I grabbed his gun.
Oh.
You got this gun.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He was throwing the shoulder and you just
He wasn't throwing the shoulders, but he was doing something else and it was getting a little bit too. I said, hold on. Give it here before anything could happen. It could fall, somebody could pick like it was kids around, like kids could pick it up. You don't even see it fall. Like, why are you doing all that with like I get it, but like, come on now. So it's like even little situations like that, like when you know that people are armed, there's nothing wrong with somebody being armed and protecting themselves, but you still have to protect yourself too. Like how people say when you drive, you don't drive for just yourself, you drive for the people around you.
So what you saying is that you feel like it makes me on agreement that you feel like the homies need to come around and be like, hey yo, we not even on that type of time.
Hold your homeboys accountable, even if y'all
That
gotta do
and if
checks.
you know and if you know you act crazy when you drink, don't drink so much when you're outside. Wait until you in a backyard with your family or something. But drinking outside and you around people that you don't know and you know that you act crazy when you drink.
But I think that's another cop out though. I think I really want to say I think that's another cop out for people to say, oh, the alcohol is involved. Now we finna start shooting.
No, what I'm saying is that if you know that you don't act right on alcohol, you shouldn't be drinking it outside. That's
That's
you
true,
being
right?
self aware of yourself.
That's a self awareness in itself. But
But
we,
some of the fatalities also happen in like family gatherings. It wasn't just like, oh well, I'm finna go outside. It's like, no, I'm going outside with my cousins, but I got into it with my other cousin because he owed me $50, like something like that.
oh yeah, or it's, and you gotta think about it too. Like another factor that we got to start paying attention to in these holiday weekends is that if you understand street culture, and I don't want to be the street culture specialist, but if you just understand how that a lot of that go, like a lot of times people are not outside during the whole year, right? They put up. You know what I'm saying? Because now in Chicago, you can't be lacking or you can't be outside on your blocks. So you usually put up. So the holiday weekends, when especially in the summertime shot, is probably when you're probably moving around the most. Yeah. And that's probably when you linking up with your people the most. So sometimes it could be, oh, I see such and such in traffic. Oh, we finna slide on their block today because it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Because we know they're gonna be out there. So it's
Yeah.
like sometimes it be people like, yo, I've been waiting to see you for like months now.
I have a theory.
And now when I see you, it's cracking.
What's your theory?
I don't know if it makes sense, but y'all think black people got ancestral PTSD? Cause it don't be this deep on Juneteenth. We have a grand time on Juneteenth.
You talking about just for 4th of July?
So you're talking about the hit because of the history of 4th of July,
Yeah, but
history of
not
America.
necessarily saying
Mhm.
like I'm just gonna be mad because this is Independence Day for a country that enslaved us.
I,
But a lot of times, I'm just asking. I'm not.
But
A,
we
I'm
do the
not. A,
same Memorial Day, Labor Day,
those are not our holidays
but it be
either.
mass shootings and shit all on them holidays
I'm
too.
just saying for Juneteenth we ain't had this
see,
problem.
4th of July ain't our holiday either. Really?
I don't know. That's a
It was just a theory. It just popped up in my head. Like
No,
it's
no, that's like I ain't gonna.
would like ancestral PTSD kind of sort of be a
I get
thing.
what you're saying, Bree. I think it's on a spiritual aspect.
Yeah,
Some
and
people
I'm
don't
not
believe in
using
that,
it
but
as, and I'm not trying to,
yeah.
I'm not trying to use it as like a cop out. It's like that's why we
No,
act
no,
up, but
no. But
like,
I get what you're saying, though.
yeah, like
It's
just the momentum of just being pushed to understand that these holidays are not for us. A lot of the times,
mm,
I don't know.
that
That's
still don't get you no crazy to act crazy.
I
Like
never said.
all them
That's why I
people,
said
all these
it's
people
not a cop out.
pulling out these guns and shooting like these kids. Like even with that situation, I don't think we posted on the blog that time, but when the kids robbed the older couple and then made her, what was the older couple and made a pregnant lady lose her baby.
Oh,
and
was that on a
and
holiday?
and you think what I said was crazy earlier today?
I definitely think what you said was crazy.
No,
What
We're
you
not going
said?
to repeat it,
I'm
but
not
Okay.
gonna repeat it, but I would. But some
Nah,
let me
Chris.
ask you this:
No, no.
we could sit here and debate
some
and
people.
go about like our feelings towards these situations, but like, what would y'all say would be as a member of this community and this affects all our community on a daily basis? Like, what would y'all do? What would y'all suggest that we need to put in place to change this, like solutions?
It's really all honestly everything. Like we talking about people like robbing and like shooting and killing.
I just want to stay with like just
So
the senseless violence and the shooting.
senseless violence is
Like
all. But
what
people broke. It's poor. It's poverty.
I
Yeah.
think it's rooted in poverty
It's
and the
all poverty.
economy.
Like, and then, I think, I forgot, bro, that came on the show that talked about it. But like, if you go get a job somewhere, like, they gonna find you up there. So like, especially if you got ops and you looking for somebody looking for you, it's really just a whole lot of poverty. If there was more money, people wouldn't be doing some of this stuff. Like, you really just want to live a comfortable life, or you want to live a life that I don't know, but it's really just poverty.
It's a lot of it's just
Poverty.
rooted in like poverty and survival.
poverty and survival? Do you feel like do you feel like do you feel like because when Aaron was saying that, like we agreed on the exposure part, right? So I'm guessing, like, anybody ever seen The Wire?
Yeah.
So y'all remember that episode? I think it was like season 3 or 4 when they had Amsterdam.
I do not remember
It was
that.
not Amsterdam. It was Amsterdam or something like that. When it was like for a block radius where drugs and you could sell drugs. It was legal. Like it's
I
basically
ain't know
like
that.
crime.
Yeah.
He legal. The police commissioner, superintendent around that time. He legalized crime in Baltimore in this area. He came to all the
For
drug.
just one day.
No, He told all the
Sound like Purge,
nah,
yeah.
Yeah,
nah.
sound like the
He
purge.
did it for it was like it worked for like I want to say like on the in the show term probably like a month, but he was basically he told all his officers like these are the limits. They can sell drugs and do crime and within these blocks. Is these blocks. If they step outside of this and do any like shootings or sell any drugs, lock that up. And he told the same thing to the like all the gangs where they ain't really had gangs, but like the drug dealers, like look, y'all can set up y'all shops, y'all packs, so all the fiends can come down right here to this spot because it was like a bunch of abandoned buildings. Like it wasn't really no community right there. It was just this little spot. He said y'all can do that. But when he did that, the crime rates in the community was down. Like they was like taking pictures and showing it like damn, ain't nobody standing on corners, ain't nobody's dropping, like ain't no shootings. Like it was peaceful in the neighborhoods. But this little one little spot over here, like yo, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do over there. And I bring that up because what would y'all say if Mayor Johnson implemented something like that for the streets? Because it's not drug dealing, right? And not saying they can shoot and kill each other. But you say it's money and it's poverty, right?
Yeah.
So what if it's like, yo, I will give y'all some money, a check.
Excuse
No
me.
check for it. Go ahead.
I'll give y'all a check. But y'all can't be no shootings.
It's not gonna help.
That's what we got the migrants here. That's exactly what he doing with the
You know
migrants.
what they're gonna do with
And
that
only
check?
thing you gotta do is check in your we got park districts. Only thing you gotta do is check in your hood. Go to a meeting once a meet in your hood and do like mental health
That's
check-ins
what
and
he
counseling.
doing with the migrants.
But that's what
All
I'm
they
saying.
gotta do is check in to the shelter, and then they go to
But
the
that's
jobs
a
that they got
serious question
assigned to
though.
do.
But low key, okay. So what you're saying, Cody, I get what you're saying, but Bree has a point. But also, let's also not that won't work because if this that's what they're doing with the migrants, and we're seeing crime with them as well.
But they not
Is
from
it
here though.
But
It don't matter.
it's
It's
kind of
still
like an
humans.
experiment thing. Like you're doing it with a small group, and I'm not gonna say this happens, but I wouldn't be surprised if it grows into something bigger. And when we think about it, that's kind of the same thing with like government assistance, like the regulations and the laws and the things that you have to do in order to continue to receive
Mhm.
government assistance that you have to abide by just to continue to get it. I feel like that's kind of like the same system. It's just not.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's the same with the migrants because the migrants this is foreign land to them, right? This is like foreign land. This is not where they from. So they just
But
yeah.
that's also like what's stopping them from just like robbing everybody that they see, which some of them do.
Yeah.
Like what's
That's what I'm
stopping them from
saying.
just banding together and just like going crazy on all of us and just saying we gonna take over and being out to.
I'm not gonna hold you. It's
I don't
conversations
know.
of stuff like that already floating around social media.
Yeah.
And
I
so, and
understand.
it's
I think
happening in neighborhoods. Them and the Mexicans,
Cause I seen them out west. Baby, they
it's
had
a problem.
swords like
Oh,
medieval
they
times,
don't be
like
playing.
butcher knives, like running in the streets, like literally like trying to kill each other.
because you bringing them to foreign land. They're just outside and they still not adjusted to the
And
laws.
how do you control them and adjust them? You give them money and you put them in the smallest jobs that they can get as long as they're able to take care of their
But they
families.
but it's still gonna be an adjustment period because you gotta think about it. Where they coming from. Ain't no law. Ain't the laws is not like that. So they it's wild west and they ghettos and they villages. Like you can do that. So they already coming from that mindset.
So what's the difference?
The difference is what this is my point of view. The difference is I'm coming from a mindset where Chris says it's probably rooted. I want to get some bread, right? So if I want to get some bread, and you give me a check, I don't have to go rob nobody to do it. And only thing you telling me that all I gotta do is to keep my check coming and flowing is no shootings. So now if I'm a person over there with influence in my neighborhood or over my guys, right? It's like, yo, we getting some paper because the government did this before, kind of similar with Jeff Ford and them back in the '60s. What they was doing like programs, they gave them like $2 million. Stones, they gave them $2 million in the '60s to do like programs.
Shout out to.
But shout out to the Moles. But all I'm saying is if you got influence and you got your guys and you telling your guys, even your little guys, and I'm like, nah, we not on that. and you telling them like you sitting them there like y'all, we not on that. So y'all finna get this bread. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do with this bread. But the minute y'all start shooting again, and we getting bodies dropped, and 7 year olds getting killed, and 9 year olds, 40, like all these type of shit, like innocent bystanders of y'all being senseless with this shit, the money gonna stop.
So you
I don't
And
know.
then I think you can implement programs in between it, like check-ins, like once a week to do like therapy. Start when they had a check-in. Start implementing trade schools and stuff like that because
but
everybody
they're
not going
okay to commit
Cody.
other crimes. They just can't have any fatalities. You can't shoot anyone.
shooting or robbing like no crimes.
Well,
Well, I
it's,
put
it's,
it I
it's
put
a
it this
bunch
way.
of
I put it this way. You
crazy
can,
ones.
huh?
There's a bunch of crazy crimes out there.
It's a
Yeah,
bunch of
like
crazy
shooting.
crimes out there, but at the end of the day, if I'm getting to some paper, and I'm just there putting myself as a young adolescent that been in them situations, and my guys been in them situations. If I'm putting myself in that situation where it's like, yo, I'm getting to some paper, I could jump fresh and buy my gym shoes, I can buy my something to smoke on. You know what I'm saying? Like I can be good. I could jump a little fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Pe-
I could be good.
The only thing I would say for
Why would I?
that,
Why would I jeopardize free paper?
people do that all the time. People be, all right. So there's one thing I
I would
want to
look.
say, like behind, like besides what you just said, because I know like Jury just said, like create opportunities for people. There's opportunities out there. There's jobs out there. There's programs out there that exist. People just don't go to them. They don't want to go.
This is true.
And
I was
like
gonna say too, like,
with those people,
what
what can
part
you
of
do for those
this?
people?
But that's what I'm saying. The part of the process right now is to stop it. Right now, you have open line communication because now the thing is a problem with the streets now is that there's not a lot of open line communication with who's calling shots, who has influence, and what's going on. It's a wild wild west right there, right? But if you got somebody with influence and him and they guys is like, yo, we gonna just gonna calm down and we getting paid not to calm down. Now, me personally, this is just my brain thinking on the fly. If you putting programs in the hood and it's like, yo, to keep getting this check, of course you can't do this, but we also need y'all to do this. It's going to be out of 20 people in your neighborhood and your block and your guys, if you got 20, it's going to be a good 7 of them that's going to be like, you know what? I'm like, okay, all right, so all I gotta do is therapy. Out there in y'all office in trade school, and y'all offering this. It's smart. It's smart people in the streets. Everybody know dudes and people. You know you got cousins or guys you know that was in the streets that's smart. They just never really had a real opportunity. But if you giving me a real opportunity to make the same money or do the same thing I'm doing, it's a chance that you could touch those 7 people. Now you get just took 7 people out of the 20 that's not killing no more. But they got influence. So now the people under them, they being able to show them the way. I just feel like
But
it's
I think
different.
that this is something that has happened though. We've seen this with groups back in, like she said, in the 90s. What part of this is systemic though? Because we have to look at whether you're black or Hispanic in our communities, we had community leaders. We had people that were doing exactly what you're saying. Maybe not money wise, but and they all got locked up for different reasons, right? Or killed. So who's to say that that won't happen again? Who's to say that the systemic racism and the system that is in place to it is to hold us back in certain areas. And so who's to say that they would even care to bring something like that about?
I
Because
mean,
we've
that's
had
fear.
stuff like that before.
That's fear though. That's the thing is you'll never move forward if you moving in fear. Like you can't like okay they did it before. That's like if you everybody in here want to find love one day, right? But everybody in here has probably been in a bad relationships. So who's to say the next relationship is gonna be good? You gonna go around with this mindset saying that oh man I can't get open. I'm not gonna open myself up to love or be with somebody else because the last one wasn't good. Nah, you can't move
No,
with
what
the
I'm
fear.
saying is who's to say that the people that we have in place that are leadership in our leadership positions, we got to think about from how systemic racism has worked in America. Why would they then change the way that they've already structured things?
I think you. I feel like you. I feel like that's two different conversations. See, we conversation that I was putting on the table is a solution to what's going on. What you is
I understand
we
that, but that we
when
would
you
have
bring it
to get
when
that
we
from
put. I
leadership.
guess what I'm saying when you bringing solutions to the table, right? Let's see how the solution gonna work without saying somebody having fear that somebody gonna come it up. Because if we present this to them and be like, yo, this is the plan, like I would want us to use our voices more so of saying like, okay, well, this part of I see your plan, but we should tweak the plan and make it like this because this might not work based on the plan, not based on somebody trying to sabotage the plan. See what I'm saying?
I understand that, but I get what JAYY is saying too. I think she's basically just saying like, in order for us to have a successful plan, the people in leadership have to do right by us. Like we can do right by the people, we can do right by ourselves. But
That's noted, right? We know that. Well, all I'm saying is that take that part out because that's what you doing right there.
you could take it out, but that's reality.
That's reality, but that's fear. That's the same thing Mallory came here and said about the experiment he had with the cage when the dogs don't want to leave and then their parents don't want to leave because you automatically thinking in your head.
I think her question is not let's throw it out or let's just say that's a bad solution. I think her question is more so how do we work just in case this happens? Like, because we know policies and things have been in place. People get foundations and resources and programs for the community, and like the money doesn't always go to the community. Or we get crooked cops that get part of a percentage of something when they're not supposed to. And I think she's saying like, how do we go around? Not even go around, but how do we just ensure that this doesn't happen? Because there is a possibility that it might happen. I think it's just being over prepared, like staying prepared, so that you don't have to get prepared just in case this happens.
So yeah, that's a step, and I think that's appropriate. What I want to make sure that people watching the broadcast so we understand one of the main reasons why don't ever make it is because before we sit down and perfect and execute the plan, we start trying to we start giving ourselves anxiety and start thinking about the other surrounding the plan. And that's bringing in that fear. Like
I think you calling it anxiety when we just trying to be extra prepared.
But you can't prepare for something that
And I also think it's about being realistic.
We haven't even perfected what we're trying to do. We already before we think about what we're trying to do, and it's the same thing y'all just said to me earlier.
You
right?
saying it's steps?
Yeah, it's steps. You have to let's focus on that part. That's the same thing they just did to Mayor Johnson. They sit there. He had this press conference. He listened to his people talk, and everybody's sitting there complaining, saying what goes wrong. Y'all don't do this. Y'all coming late. Police this. Da 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 this. But when you have these meetings, when you got these people here, there's never a plan. Put together a plan based on what you know, what you want to see, and what can be done. And once you have that out detailed, like in a perfect world, what's your plan gonna be? Then when you start trying to execute your plan, then you go into okay, if this happened, it's like playing a game of chess. That's why they say life is chess, not checkers. And checkers, you just move. In chess, we have to really think this out. And I think that's me personally. When we start talking about solutions and shit, I don't think people really want to think the solution out. And a lot of times it's just move out of fear. Well, I don't want to do that because this is gonna happen, or if this happened to me, I'm gonna just do it like this instead of really sitting down and putting together a plan. That's all I'm saying.
Touche, I get it. I think we kind of on the same notion because I feel like within the plan you got to be over prepared. You got to in the plan when you're planning something and brainstorming something, when you planning stuff out, you're gonna know there are gonna be bumps in the road. You're gonna know that there are gonna be like trials that you have to overcome. And I think that's what JAYY was just saying. Like, let's try to within us planning, let's try to figure out how do we already have a plan to overcome the trials that we're gonna face. Because let's face it, like our government is corrupt.
It's inevitable given our history, so it's important that we do plan ahead.
Yeah.
No, we plan it. That's something you gonna think about. Thing. All I'm saying is that don't overskip the fact that you don't even have to plan what you're trying to implement. Focus on that. Like we know the government, systematic racism, that's gonna be there, right? But if you really put the time in, like before you get to that part, can't nobody really sit there and be like, well, I want to do this, and I think we should do this. We're gonna have a yoga classes for kids. We're gonna read books, like what it is exactly we trying to do to fix this problem. Before we start saying systematic racism and government ain't gonna do this or they gonna pull out guns and do that, like what is exactly is we trying to do? So that's all I'm saying. Hey, what's up? What's the word?